especially when we have people all over the world. We do get a lot of good views on these when we post them up to YouTube. So hopefully everybody's jumping on and getting their community updates. Every time someone reaches out directly to me, I've started just saying, get to the community update. We got a whole bunch of stuff coming. But appreciate you guys being on, and we'll go ahead and get kicked off here. We have a couple folks who will be sharing today. We have a special guest. We've got a member of our community that's going to jump on. Some of you guys know Scott Touchton. He's been a big supporter of the ELMT community for a long time, and he's going to get on and give us an update from the token side. As you guys know, we try to separate the ELMT United community, which is the company, well, ELMT United, which is obviously we have the products. We're trying to solve these problems that exist in the mining world. That is different from the ELMT blockchain. Most of you guys, as node owners, as token owners, are members of the ELMT blockchain. And so sometimes we think it's nice if we can kind of, rather than me trying to talk, wear two different hats and speak out of both sides of my mouth here, I will always cover things from the company side, what's happening with products, kind of a bigger vision of where things are going there. And so we'll start bringing on community members who could talk a little bit more broadly and openly about ELMT. And I think a lot of you guys are very interested in what's happening with the token. Most of the questions that I get from people are about the token. Hey, I've had my node for a long time. When's your token going to take off? Things like that. So as always, we'd like to welcome Ali, Paul, Amy, other members of our community or of ELMT United. And we are pleased to be joined today by Scott Touchton, who, again, like I just mentioned, is a member of the ELMT community. And he's going to go into a little bit, some of the questions I get regarding like token questions, like tokenomics, things like that. When are you going to get listed here? What's happening here? I thought I'd bring on a member of the community who is involved in things like that to talk about that. And you guys can ask questions. If you guys have any questions, put them in the chat and he'll try to answer them on the fly. But Scott, appreciate it. Thank you for joining us. And we'll go ahead and turn the time over to you.
Yeah, thanks. Happy to be here. I'm going to share my screen and we're just going to jump in. So I'm here on ELMT's CoinMarketCap page because I'm assuming everybody can see my screen sharing. That's my biggest pet peeve that people ask on these calls anyway. Can you see my screen? Okay, so on CoinMarketCap, there's a lot of data. And one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go and just jump around and show a lot of different tools that I use on a regular basis. And then we can, so you'll hopefully know how to use these tools in your future research. Because a lot what we talk about is like doing your own research and knowing how to do that. So one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use the ELMT contract address. So you can either get it right here on CoinMarketCap, because I trust CoinMarketCap. I know that this is the right element, right? There might be like fake ELMT tokens or other tokens with the same name. So I want to make sure I'm getting the right one. Or the other place I could get the contract address is through ELMT support. ELMT support FAQ. I know that this is the correct token contract address because I'm getting it from ELMT. And then I'm not just going to look at CoinMarketCap data. I'm not a big fan of CoinMarketCap data, to be honest with you. And it's problems in DeFi and decentralized trading. But so I'm going to take the token contract address, and then I'm going to show you a couple other tools that I use to find other data that I'm looking for. So again, I'm going to copy this right here. I'm going to start with Dex Screener. Dex Screener is a tool. I have this app on my phone. I go to this website multiple times a day. And it allows me to look across decentralized trading. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the token contract address in here, and then it's going to show me different pairs, and it's going to show me, and with this I can actually see liquidity on those pairs. But I'm going to show you some of the problems with decentralized trading and decentralized finance and what some of the other projects and what we're trying to solve. So right here, it looks like I can see multiple pairs. That top one, I can see it shows that there's $118,000 worth of liquidity in that pair. So I can go with the same token contract address and go to a different tool. Here's called Dex Tools. Okay. So this exact same, they're only pulling and showing me that there's like $6,000 or $7,000 worth of liquidity on this token, right? So it's access or how they're reporting different ones. So Dex Screener is showing, let's see, let's add those up. That's about $125,000 worth of liquidity. Dex Tools is showing, $6,000 or $7,000 worth of liquidity. If I go on CoinGecko, or CoinGecko actually has their own decentralized tracking called Gecko Terminal. If I go on Gecko Terminal and do the same thing, it shows me here, okay, now this same pool, this third one down, if I look over on the far right, it's showing that that pool has $485,000 worth of liquidity. So again, a lot of just, discrepancy data to where I don't just go, and I show you this to show that I don't go just look at one place. Like, I'm going to do my own research and I'm going to go dig across and see what I can find. But I can find that, look, there's, $500,000 worth of liquidity here just across these decentralized pools. Another thing that I look at, and I want to show y'all where it's linked, is, so this is the DGF site. And Scott mentioned, tokenomics. So if you're an Element community member, these are websites that you should have bookmarked, like in your browser, so you know how to find them, you know where to go back to them. So if I'm on this, and I'll drop all these links in the chat as soon as I stop talking, so then you can take them and pull them. Okay, so if I go down here underneath like the distribution formula, you've got two links right here. So these are the block explorers. So the top one is the native blockchain. So element.elevatescan.com. And the other one is on Etherscan. So I'm going to go to both of these and show you the difference between them. So again, if I'm running my node, I'm running my Element node, and every day I get a token distribution to my Element node. Well, that's on the native blockchain. That's on the native layer 1 blockchain. This is the block explorer for the Element layer 1 blockchain. And on this, I can see daily distribution. I can look up my wallet address and I can see all the different things. There's a lot of data on this site. But so this is like, so block explorers are like Google for blockchains. They're like a search engine, or like the Yellow Pages, whatever you want to call it, for a blockchain. But you got to know where to look and how to look at it. But on here, I can look at the layer 1. If I go back again to the DGF site and click on this other one, this is the Etherscan. So the block explorer for Ethereum, specifically on the Element token. So these are the bridge tokens. So if I take these two, I can look at the total distributed, which is the actual circulating supply of the token. So if something gets distributed from the node, it's going to go to the layer 1, and I'm going to see it here. But then once it's bridged, then it's going to be on the Ethereum blockchain as an ERC-20. So look, it's just under, we'll probably hit 7.5 today. So we're at 7.49 billion tokens have been bridged, okay? And then that with what's on the native, those added together is the total circulating supply of the token. And then the to be distributed is future distribution. That's in a locked up smart contract. So if I go here, I can look under these different branches out, right? Tokens, if I go in there, that's going to show me the actual token itself, as well as far as also different NFTs that have been minted. If I go here in blockchain, I can look at internal transactions. So that's going to be daily distributions, or if I send from my native wallet, if I send native tokens to someone else's native wallet, that's going to be an internal transaction because it's internal to the layer 1 blockchain. But also that's going to be daily distributions. If I go in here in top accounts, the top one is going to be future distribution. So that's going to be, so you can see right here, it's the contract address as opposed to the circles. Those are wallets. The top one is basically, that's the future distribution. So you can see it's like 11 billion, 11.6 billion. So that's the future. So that's a lockup contract. And then there's a daily distribution that comes out of that according to the distribution, according to the smart contract. And then that's what's sent to the nodes every day. So all of this is just, again, just ways to find data, ways to explore the blockchain and look at the blockchain to see what all is there. And then again, with this information, then you can make decisions that are right for you. But again, just in looking at CoinMarketCap or looking at one place, it's like you don't want to get your news from one place, right? Because then you're taking the word of what they say. But get your news from a couple places, and then put all that together, and somewhere in the middle you probably find the truth. Okay, so that's the main things I wanted to show, and I want to kind of I'll hop over to the chat and see what kind of questions we've got.
Go back into go back to your CoinMarketCap.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you look on here and hit the 1 month. So if you guys notice, there's been a spike in activity over the past month, and that has to do with, some of it has to do with we're verified now on CoinMarketCap. If you see that little blue check mark down there near circulating supply, which is kind of a big deal, which is great. But in the future, there are other members of the community that are going to be doing a lot of things for market support, liquidity pools, things like that. And so this is just a tiny little blip. But things are about to get very active with certain members of the community. Again, it's not Element United that does any of this. We don't have anything to do with the token. I barely even talk about the token intentionally. But there will be we'll probably bring on other members of the community and future calls who are doing and supporting some activities that you'll start to see affecting volume and things like that with the tokens. But yeah, it's great, right? We were just kind of flatlined for a long time, and then you see a bunch of activity. So yeah. Anyway, let's go ahead, Scott. Go ahead and jump back into the chat, and if you want to start answering a few questions there, that'd be great.
Yeah, so I love Eldridge's question about, is there a disadvantage of listing on a centralized exchange because of market conditions? In my opinion, like a lot of centralized exchanges right now, there's a lot of a lot of them are just trying to get rich, the actual exchanges themselves. And that's why I like decentralized trading, because it's all transparent. What goes on, like a centralized exchange is more closely related to Wells Fargo or Bank of America than it is to true crypto. Because there is a middleman. You can't see behind the scenes what they're doing. You can't see in the actual hot wallets. You see what they want you to see. Most of the volume is fake and inflated volume, as opposed to decentralized trading. What you see is real, and you could track it utilizing some of these tools. Whether Dex tools, Dex Screener, all these different tools, you can actually track decentralized trading, and it's not inflated or fake. Let's see. I mean, actual liquidity. Somebody's asking about actual liquidity. I mean, that's the community. There's community members doing this. I mean, I just showed pools where there's over $500,000 worth of liquidity, which is more than was there last month. So with this activity, we're showing the 1 month chart. I mean, things are headed in a direction that me as a community member, me as a node owner is excited about, which is why, I'm having conversations like this and coming on this call to help other people see what I look at. I don't know if that answers the question or not, but that's what when I look at all these things, that's what I'm tracking.
Yeah. And you can see that the element, as far as our ranking, we're at 2,000. I think last week we were at ranked 7,000 or something like that. So things are moving in the right direction. And from some of the community members that I talked to, things are about to go in a very, very how do I say this without, a lot of volume. There's a lot of things coming. So exciting things that members of the community. I was with some of these members in Puerto Rico last week. There are a lot of very exciting things coming. And so this little blip that you've seen here is nothing, in the long run of how things are shaping up. So it's fun stuff. Any other questions did you want to address, or anything else you wanted to talk about, Scott?
I mean, I'm in all the Discords, my Discord username Skippy T. Come find me. Let's talk. I'm an active community member. I will say this, there are fake Skippy T's. I will not DM you first. I mean, it's the fact that there's people scamming, trying to pretend to be my college nickname is hilarious in a way, but also kind of sad. So yeah, come find me in the Discord. But watch out, I'm not going to DM you first, but yeah, come find me, Skippy T. And let's, as community members, there's a lot that we can do together. And that's a great place for us as community members to sync up and talk about how we can do this kind of stuff together and grow this community that we're a part of.
That's great. Love it. Thanks, Scott. And I think you've made it. When you've got fake Skippy T's out there, that's the sign that you have arrived, my friend. And,
hey, one thing I want to add, I actually came to this realization. So I was in Puerto Rico and I was flying back yesterday, and everybody talks about, like, why is this so complicated? Why is it so complicated to set up a wallet? Why do I have these seed phrases, right? Why is this so complicated? Okay. So in the centralized world, so Scott, you flew out too. So I go to check my bags and they're like, oh, we can't accept your bags because you haven't gone through the USDA checkpoint. So I had to go find the USDA checkpoint. Then I had to come back and check my bags. Then I had to go through TSA. Then I had to do this. Then I had to do this. But if I go to TSA pre, I could go faster. But if I go to clear with TSA pre, everything is complicated. We're just used to it. The centralized world is not simple. It's just we're used to their complexity. This is new complexity. So everybody's like, why is it so complex? Like, flying out of Puerto Rico is not a simple process. It's just we're used to it as travelers. So, like, setting up wallets, setting up seed phrases, encryption passwords. I mean, yeah, it's complex, but it's just because it's new, not because, like, setting up anything with traditional finance, doing anything, I'm sure, with the mines or anything like that. That's just as complex, if not more complex. So that was an observation I had yesterday coming out of the airport. I was like, man, this is not simple.
Yeah, that's a great analogy. But and in time, as you get used to it, then it does get easier, right? So I was flying with John Madsen, who some of you guys know. He does legal work for us. My path and his path at the airport were very different, right? I had clear with TSA, no check baggage, and boom, straight through. He stayed in a big line, had to do all this stuff. And so in time, as you get more reps in, it does get a little bit smoother. But that's a great analogy, Scott. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, I'm gonna finish up. I'm gonna drop a bunch of these links in the chat of just the different tools that I use. And yeah, thanks for having me on.
Okay. You got it. Okay, appreciate that. So we, as Scott mentioned, we got back from Puerto Rico. We spent a few days out there with some of the leadership from Connect. You had to earn your way out there. They had to sell, X number of nodes to get out there. And so it was a fantastic event, from the venue to the entertainment to just the people who were there, and the excitement. And there's just something in the air right now with the direction and where we're at in this cycle, to where everybody is interested again. We kind of went through this little dip where it was hard, right? It was hard to get people interested in nodes. I'd say, oh, well, I bought one of your nodes a while ago. And now all of a sudden, I've got one guy who I've been talking to says, hey, I've got like a whole bunch of people interested in going into the market, buying ELMT or buying nodes. And I'm like, really? Like how, what do you got? He's like, oh, I got about $500,000 worth of, money that people want to buy ELMT. We've got a couple other guys that, want to go in huge with nodes. And all of a sudden it's just like this, everybody's kind of prepping, I believe, they're all anticipating this run that a lot of experts believe is coming over the next several months. And in a lot of ways, we're trying to gear up for it too, gear up in ways that make it easier to buy the token, gearing up in ways that that are bringing community members together who are going to be creating liquidity pools. And so I flew out with 3 gentlemen who have committed and have already been putting a lot of money into Element nodes. There are big things on the horizon from the community side. I'll probably bring, in fact, one of the guys that was on our last call jumped on when I was in that garage with all the luxury cars. Mitch Burton jumped on for a minute. The things that are being worked on by him and others like him and some of the partners, we were able to take to Puerto Rico and sit with Wright for a long time and meet a lot of the other community members. These are very exciting things. These are fantastic things that are coming. And there's also a bit of timing, right, to where the members of the communities are, they're trying to read the tea leaves and saying, when is the altcoin season going to run, and when should we deploy all this capital, all those things. Obviously, I don't have anything to do with any of that, but there are a lot of folks trying to time things and in anticipation of a similar run that has always happened in year 4 post. In the months following the 4-year Bitcoin halving cycle. So it was fantastic from a community standpoint. I think we've got a stronger community than ever, with motivated, extremely bullish, folks looking at the Element project, and so it was great. We were able to do a lot of collaborations. We've got many meetings set up with basically everybody that was there. A large contingent of them, they were from all over the world, are coming here to the United States over the summer to do some work. So it was great. We had a really good time, and some of the information and some of the things that we put together there will be announced over time. A lot of high-level strategic meetings on the vision and the direction of Element United. We've already leaked some of it, with our Layer 1 blockchain being the platform that a lot of other companies use to create their own tokens. There's a company that we're working with, that we just started working with out of Africa, that has oil wells that we're creating a new token for that'll live on our blockchain. A lot of really cool things. And obviously the core of what we do, who is Element United? What are we trying to do? Our focus will always be on the problems that exist in the mining world and how can our blockchain products solve those problems. As you know, Paul and I have an upcoming trip to Ghana where we're going to be filming what we're doing, some of the land that we're going to be reclaiming, the families who are putting these bracelets together. Some of you guys, in fact, a lot of people are still waiting on the bracelets because they want the bracelets that were made by these villagers. And how awesome is that they want to have a connection and a piece of something that was created by someone who is being pulled out of the mines and being able to earn an income in a much better way. So all that great stuff, we'll release things as they're ready. I think in the past we've had the tendency to talk about all these incredible things, and then everybody says, well, Scott, you talked about this 5 months ago, where is it? All these things are still being worked on, but I think we've adopted the strategy of talking about things as they're being released and as things are happening. And I know there's always 2 sides to that. There's the company side with products, and then there's the token side. So we'll probably, moving forward, have a member of the community on every one of these calls just to give an update from their perspective and what's happening, because there's a lot of movement. There are a lot of things happening now, to where in the last 3 years it's been product. And now that's starting to be leveled out with, there's a lot of things happening with the token and with different relationships. And I think that's the part that you guys get really excited about. And I know if you're a node owner and you came in a while ago, I know where your heart is. You love the problems we're trying to solve and the people that we're trying to help. But there's also this token thing that you're all holding on to that you would love to see some movement on. And everything is moving that direction. And so anyway, so we're going to take one more pivot now, and we're going to turn the time over. One of the things that we've been working on is in anticipation of a lot of people coming to find out who Element is, we are revamping our website, and we're making things a little bit more easy to understand, user friendly. And so I'm going to turn the time over to Paul here, and he's going to show us kind of what we're doing, how the new look and feel of Element is going to feel like, because in a very, very big way, we are about to be accessible to the world. I think there's a lot of people with some of the partners that we're working with and some of the members of the community who they're working with to put eyeballs on ELMT, the company, and also ELMT, the token. We wanted to have a fresher look, an updated look. So Paul, why don't you jump in here and give us a little sneak peek of what you've been working on specifically.
Okay, I'll share my screen. So let's see, you can see that, right?
Yep.
Okay. So, I mean, this is the direction of we're going to go with the new home, the new website. Yeah, just kind of bringing back into our branding colors and stuff like that. Some new.
And there's by the way,
simple.
there's name changes for all of our products coming. We're letting the cat out of the bag right now because you've seen some of that on there, but we're rebranding a lot of our products. I'm glad you skipped over that really quick so people couldn't see what we're rebranding to. But so anyway, keep going.
Yeah, we're still working on some of the names, and this why has not been published yet. We're still kind of reviewing everything, but like Scott said, this is just kind of a sneak peek of kind of what it's going to look like. But one thing also I was going to show today is just going to hint at this new kind of contest giveaway thing that we wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll show this a little bit more, but yeah,
it just flows a little bit better. It's just easier for people to really kind of understand. We're filming a lot of content right now as well to make our message a little bit clearer. So yeah, that's probably good enough, a good enough of a tease for now. But let's just go over what we're going to be doing here on our contest as well.
So for the contest, me and Allie kind of were asking you guys a few community calls back if you guys wanted to do like a contest for using the swap tool that's now in our app. And so we are going to start doing that. We haven't launched it yet, but this is what it's going to look like. We're kind of doing this kind of pinball theme, kind of arcade, to where anytime you swap, you're going to come onto the website, you're going to enter your information, and you're going to put your transaction hash in here, and it's going to generate a random reward for you, and you're going to get an email of whether it 3 times X your reward or 2 times or 0, right? It's randomized, and it'll email you, and you can do this up to 3 times, kind of make it fun. So this is kind of the preview of what it's going to be. Like I said, kind of supposed to be fun, arcade kind of related. But yeah.
And so when does this start, Paul?
So we're thinking it's going to start May 21st.
Okay.
And go through June 18th.
Okay. So you see, you've got a little video there. You put a video there on how it works. Is that video live?
This isn't live yet. Like I said, this is still just a sneak peek. We don't have completely everything ready yet for it, but we'll do just a video of just how to use the swap tool. So then everyone can watch that video if they don't know how. But yeah, this is
awesome. So we're gonna incentivize you guys to get in there and use the swap tool and also learn how the swap tool works. So that's just anything else? Oh, this is really cool. Good job, Paul and Allie and whoever else worked on this. This is great. I'm 50 years old. This is bringing me back to my childhood in the 80s of pinball games and things like that. So this is very cool. Yeah. Fantastic. All right. Thank you. Okay, guys. So that's it for today. I know, we're at 30 minutes. We try to keep these at 30 minutes because you're in the middle of the day. Just know there are very, very big things moving on the token side. And so rather than just say blanket statements like that, we're going to bring on folks probably every single, from here on out, someone from the community to talk about what's happening, because we anticipate a lot of movement between these bi-weekly calls, just to talk about what's happening. And I'll talk about some of the relationships that I have. We'll always do product updates. We didn't do any today, but I just want to give you a quick recap of the Puerto Rico event, the contest, the website refresh, and then obviously Scott and how to use these tools. And again, there are reasons why we're bringing on members of the community to show you how to use these tools, because we're we're confident that you're going to be wanting to use these tools a lot over the next several months in all positive ways. So that's all we've got for today. Anybody else have anything? Ali, Amy, if there's anything else you guys want to jump in and talk about, speak now or forever hold your peace. But if not, then we'll go ahead and we'll call it an update, and we'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Okay. Sounds great. Thanks, Scott.
Thanks. Bye.